Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chicken Possible with Rewards Hunter, back with part 3 of Return to Grace. So this is the series where we work through grabbing all the achievements in this game and a bunch of Microsoft Rewards points along the way. If you haven't already watched parts 1 and 2, those will be linked in the description so you can get caught up and grab all the achievements that we've previously grabbed in this game. But as always, I'll be breaking this up into 3 separate sections of the video for 3 separate days worth of daily quest points for earning an achievement in a Game Pass game. These will also help with any of the weekly or monthly quests that you might still be working on. And if you play the downloaded version, you'll be able to grab these 10 points here and get one step closer to finishing up your weekly console bonus for this week. So let's go ahead and get started in Return to Grace, and we'll take a quick look at the achievement tracker like we always do. You should be at 6 out of 35 achievements so far, and the last one that we got in part 2 was They'll Never Take Our Freedom. So we're going to get the next 3 in this video today, and we're going to find out a little bit more about the different AIs that make up Grace. So let's go ahead and select Start Game. Now here on the Save Game screen, we want to do something special this time. Make sure that you follow along here and that you do this. This is going to be crucial to going back and getting some of the achievements in a second playthrough. We're going to press X to copy and then copy the slot 1 game save down to slot 2 down there. So they should look exactly the same. They should have the same timestamp on them and everything in both slot 1 and slot 2. We're going to save slot 2 for later on in the playthrough. And for now, we're going to continue playing in the slot 1 game save that we have been using. But definitely make sure that you have a copy of this sort of moment in the game. So once you've got that finished up, we'll go ahead and select slot 1 and we're going to start our game back up from where we left off. We're going to turn around and head back towards this door back here, and we're going to need to turn on some of the light buttons that are back here.
What do I do here?
This is a security panel. I am decrypting the pattern now. Ah, yes. Simple enough.
So in order to do this, basically you're just going to be pressing the buttons, and if you press it once, when it's off, it'll turn on, and if it's on, it'll turn off. So we want to light up the 9 buttons in the very middle and then turn off all the buttons that are lit up in the surrounding areas. So this is kind of what it's going to look like here. And don't be worried if you accidentally press a wrong button. You just want to get those 9 center ones lit up, and then the door will open up for you. So it looks like that. And then we'll head on through the door.
So what exactly are you?
So Logic is going to talk to us a little bit more. And then we're going to head into this lift here, or elevator as you might call it, and we're going to press the button in here.
The third system, dedicated solely to empathizing with and understanding humans. When power is restored, Grace's primary servers should come online, and we will become some small part of Grace's consciousness.
This looks like metallic rock.
The power station is set into the Spire's foundation stone.
The foundation stone would have been an asteroid, right?
Most certainly. About 50 cubic kilometers.
So it'll take just a minute for the lift to reach the bottom, and then we're going to take a right. There's going to be a little doorway that opens up on the right side of the lift. So you'll see these bars kind of move off, and then you can move on through and follow this path.
I can't imagine the effort it would have
We'll
taken
move
to
up
make
to the
an
next
asteroid
door.
that big. We don't do anything like that today.
And then we can examine that.
Can you open this?
With some difficulty. I will need to direct.
So she says that she's going to need to move some power from Logic to Control, and Control is the next sort of iteration of the AI that we're going to meet here.
Good luck, Addie.
And as you start going down the stairs here, you'll get your first conversation with Control.
You sound a little different.
Just stronger. The voice of Control resonates through the very walls of the structure. I shall start the turbine after you prime the generators that open the spillway.
And this turbine still works?
It worked before.
So he talks about the generators,
Work
but what we're
again.
going to do is move over to the
We
right
shall find
and
the
examine
generators
these
on the
crates that are
platform
over
at the other
here.
side
So
of the
as soon as he
room.
finishes speaking, then you'll be able to do that.
You know what's in these?
Go to the 3 generators overlooking the turbine.
And then we're going to move in between the crates and look on the right. There's an open container that's over here, and you'll want to examine that for your
Enough,
achievement.
Addy. You must go to the generators.
So this one's called Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn for Ignoring Control. And that is a Gone with the Wind reference. So that is our achievement for today, but we're going to move on just a little bit so that we can go ahead and get a checkpoint here and not have to redo all those things that we just did. So keep playing along with me here for another minute and we'll get to a checkpoint. So we're going to go across to where these 3 generator panels are, and we're going to crank each one of these or prime each one of these to get the generator started.
Human hands in the operation of this station.
So, do you share memories with the logic processor?
Indeed. We are all
Move over
part
to
of
the
Grace.
middle one here and crank it until we
Aspects
get
of her
3 green
infinite
lights on it.
power, shadows of what was, and promises of what will be. I was the light that shone in the darkness. I was the hand that divided the firmament.
So again, we've got our achievement. We're just working towards a checkpoint now so that we don't have to do too much repetition when we come back to this tomorrow. So we'll keep making a little bit more progress here. Don't worry, we're not going to get another achievement today. We're just working towards that checkpoint.
The what?
So after you get the 3 generators, we're going to move back and backtrack a little bit, back across the bridge. There is a tiny lift that is right here by the broken turbine. So press the button here to call it up. And then you'll be able to step inside this, and it'll take you down to where the turbines are. And we need to release some clamps that are down here that are holding the broken turbine in place. So go to each side of it and release the latch that is here.
Safe?
It is not.
Then we'll go over to the other side and we will release our latch over here. And that'll free up the turbine to where we can pull it out of here. But of course we can't do that with our hands. It's a huge thing. So let's go back over to the lift and we're going to use this crane that's up here. So go into the lift and it should just take you up automatically.
Trust in my word. Yes.
We're going to go up the stairs that are in front of us and we'll hang a right. Go towards the crane and then we're going to press A to go ahead and start operating it. And as soon as we get rid of the old turbine, replace it with the new turbine, then we'll get our checkpoint that we're looking for. So we're going to use the left stick to move the crane around. You can see it's shining a little flashlight down. So shine that flashlight over the old turbine and then clamp onto it and bring it up. We're going to move it over to this empty spot. And when you get the option to hoist it down, then you can do that with the A button.
Now you shall place the new turbine.
We're going to move the crane over and grab the new turbine back here at the back left, hoist that up, and then drop it into position. So once that is done, you'll hear a little bit of information from the sort of final Grace voice here, and sort of a vision almost. And then Addie will go ahead and get out of the crane. There'll be a little bit more conversation with Control. And then when you see that little save icon at the upper right of your screen, then you'll know that you've gotten to the checkpoint and you can go ahead and quit the game. And we'll pick back up here for the day 2 achievement.
I think she was here for a moment. She was calling to someone. Do you know whoever it is?
No. With power restored, my mind is clearer, sharper. But I could not tell you whoever it is.
You must leave this place at once. Return to your vessel, and spread word of my return. From Sol's fiery core to the icy Kuiper expanse, all must know.
I've hijacked the volume control. I don't feel like this is going to be a short commandment. We'll see how long before he notices.
It took me nearly a year to get here. I want to know if Grace can be brought back.
There is more complex to explore if you head back to the control room through which you entered. We should determine where in the megastructure my central processors are located. Perhaps along the way you may learn more about this Everett.
I forbid you to linger a moment longer.
And he's back.
Like a divine comet, dive from the outer reaches and spread light and understanding to the inner
Please.
worlds.
I'm not leaving.
Yet more insolence.
So there's that game save icon at the upper right. So that's our checkpoint. So now we can go ahead and hit the menu button and quit to the main menu, and we'll be set up for day 2. All right, so for our day 2 achievement, we are going to start our game, make sure to select slot 1, that game save, and we'll pick back up and continue from the control room. Now we're going to head back up the stairs and head back to the big lift that we took yesterday. So we'll just head back into the lift here, and we're going to press the button to get it moving again.
Are there any accounts as to why Grace was shut down in the first place?
There's no electronic record at all. That would have been lost during the Great Dark Age.
Dark Age?
Much
So next we're going to be heading into the Zen Garden area, which is quite a bit nicer than the turbine room in my opinion. So we've got to head back up and across the console room, and then we'll head into the Zen Garden over there, and we're going to meet a new version of the AI,
Share an interest in shedding light on
which is called Empathy. So these are definitely going to be 2 of our more calming achievements coming up in the Zen Garden for
From what
days
I
2
can
and
tell,
3.
There is some sort of transit system on the other side of the control room, which should lead you to the other parts of the spire.
So ultimately we're working on getting to that transit system over there, but first we've got to go through the Zen
I
Garden.
will illuminate the door leading to this
So just
transit
keep going straight across here past the console. You'll see the door lit up over this way. And we've got another light panel, another security panel here that we need to press buttons on. And basically we need to make a big X on this one. So you're just going to go from kind of corner to corner and light up the buttons in an X pattern.
Who would know that?
I don't know. Perhaps an archaeologist? How about the Greek letter chi?
So there we go, should look like this. And then the door will open up for you and you can move on into this area.
Cause humans to turn on her,
Like what?
like becoming too overbearing.
Humans would have been given no reason to question my
Take a
bearing.
right here.
Theories, yes.
And there are a lot of things to look at in this room, but we're just going to go kind of forward and to the right, past this planet over here,
That's correct, Addie. Though the pad appears to be buried.
and then towards this door back here that has the logo on it.
Is this an airlock?
Yes.
Press the airlock button on the left side when we can, and that'll lead us into the garden once the airlock finishes processing.
I have about 5 hours left.
That's quite a risk you're taking. Were you assuming station life support could be restored?
Well, can it?
I believe so. But for reasons I'll never understand, life support is controlled by empathy processing. I suppose they had to give it something to do. I will enable that programming now.
Hello, Addie.
Hello. So you're going to get oxygen going?
The process has already begun, my friend. No rush. If you let me accompany you along the path ahead, I can balance the environment to your life force as we walk.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so we'll move on into the garden here, and we're going to take a right, and we're going to head over to this big sort of stone lantern that's over here. This is going to be the first thing we need to interact with in this room.
What is this place?
Remaining connected to one's natural world is important for a person's well-being. A fitting starting point for those entering the structure, don't you think? Do you recognize any of the objects in this section of the garden? I'd love to know what you think of them. For the calibration process.
So we'll examine the
Is
lantern.
this a lantern?
An expression of our certainty in the flow of time.
How so?
A craftsman spent months carving
So
this
after she
remarkable device
finishes speaking to you about the lantern, she'll tell you that you can move on, but we want to actually go ahead and examine a few more items in the garden here. So move to the left and you'll see a metal object here. This is an anvil, and we're going to go ahead and examine this when we can.
How about above freezing
And our achievement today is for examining all of the items in the Zen garden. So there are 4 of them that we need to examine, so let's do that with this one next.
I have no idea what this is. A weapon or tool of some kind?
It's a device for working metal. Why do you suppose it's in this garden, Addie?
It could be a symbol of hard work.
An industrious future? Or a laborious past, perhaps?
What's the point of this, Addie?
I'm an explorer. I'm here to learn.
Okay, the next thing to examine is to the left. It's this plinth that's over here that looks kind of like a jar.
Or made in the style.
The ancient Greeks boarded their ships and set out to explore.
And then we'll have one more item to examine after we finish with this one.
You are an explorer, Addie. But are you here to meet a god or to slay some beast, I wonder? You're not a planner, are you?
I've been told that.
So let's examine this statue that's right here that has I think it's a fox on it.
Simple, but
Could be a wolf.
beautiful, I guess.
And why would its beauty matter?
People like pretty things.
A human truth spanning thousands of years. What would you say these objects have in common?
They're artifacts from long before the building of the station.
But after we finish examining the 4th object, then we'll get the I'm curious what makes you so curious achievement, which is a quote from Django Unchained.
Behind in order to come here.
Haven't left a whole lot, to be honest.
I believe that's all I will need to set the perfect temperature.
Finally.
You can move on to the flower bed next to the stairs.
So there's that achievement for day 2. So we'll go ahead and quit to the main menu. We should have a checkpoint in that room, hopefully, and we will start back up here on day 3. So for our day 3 achievement, we're going to start the game and use slot 1 again. We should be hopefully back in the Zen garden as long as you got your checkpoint here.
How are these
And we're going to move over and we'll just examine the lantern one more time. I'm just going to fast forward through this here, but basically just examine the lantern. Don't worry about examining all 4 of them if you don't want to, but just at least get this first one, and then I'll show you what to do after that.
doing this right?
So after you've finished examining the lantern and hearing the discussion about that,
Temperature preferences can vary considerably.
then empathy will tell you can go ahead and move on. So let's do that. We don't have to examine all of them today. We're going to move over to sort of the left side of the room from where we came in, and there are a bunch of flowers over here. There are reds, yellows, and purples.
Next to the stairs. Do you see them, Addie? Life in perfect stillness.
So I'm just going to kind of show them all to you here. But these are all the flowers that she's talking about,
Space to arrive here.
and she wants us to pick one to kind of show our preferences. So we're going to pick this purple flower. There are only a couple of them over here, and they're close to the right side of the stairs.
Balancing of illuminatory ergonomics.
Fancy words do not make this any less idiotic.
So choose the purple
I
flower.
like this one.
A wonderful choice. You are driven by curiosity. A search for something truly special has brought you to the spire. I'm making the lighting adjustments now.
So she'll do some lighting adjustments, and then we need to turn around, and we're going to do a little yoga session over here to get our next achievement. So we're going to go into this little structure here. This is the pergola.
Seat yourself at the center of the pergola.
So walk forward into that, and Addie will automatically sit down here.
Very good. Now, when you're ready, you can remove your helmet.
My helmet?
Of course. You can't sample the air.
So we're going to be sampling the air, like she said, and testing it to make sure it's okay. There's going to be a breathing exercise that empathy starts with us here, basically like a yoga breathing exercise if you've ever done any of that.
Now I want you to
And she tells you to take a deep breath. So we're going to hold down the A button, and we're going to keep holding down the A button for way too long here. She's going to tell us to stop. She's going to tell us to release. There's going to be some argument between logic and empathy about what's going on. And what you want to do is just make sure that you keep holding on here. So keep holding that A button. Feel free to, switch from one thumb to the other if you need to, but keep holding the button down for, like I said, for way too long until Addie actually stops on her own. She will stop on her own eventually. It takes a little over a minute for it to happen, but just keep holding on to it.
I've started a pretend timer. I'm not sure who you're trying to impress here.
Well, some people just can't resist a challenge.
So we're still just holding our breath and waiting for Addie to finish, and there she goes. So she eventually released on her own. I did not, let go of the A button, but you can after she finishes with the breath. So at that point, you'll get the Hold Your Breath, Make a Wish, Count to 3 achievement, which is from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Awesome movie. Definitely watch it if you haven't watched it before. Gene Wilder is awesome and a genius comedian, in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take some normal breaths here. So just follow her instructions, hold the breath, count to 3, release, as she says. You don't have to hold it for a super long amount of time like we did on that first time through. So we'll have a third breath here. Again, you can just let go when she says to release it.
Hold it. 3, 2, 1, and release. Wonderful.
Even the station has a
And
limited
we are
supply of
almost
oxygen.
done with the yoga exercises.
Next, I want you to really open your body by
So now she says we need to reach up towards the sky. So we're just going to be tapping the A button to do this.
Wonderful. How's that feel, Addie?
Kinda nice?
And now we're going to do
almost done
a
with celebration.
balance
For our
exercise.
last exercise,
So Addie's going to stand up, stand on one foot, and after a minute, she's going to start to become a little unsteady, like we all do when we're standing on one foot for a long time. So you're going to have to balance her by using the left stick. So if she starts to lean over to the right, then you're going to lean left, and if you start to lean left, then you're going to lean to the right. You're going to push to the right to stay up. So just use it to steady yourself.
Literal balancing? Unbelievable.
And you only have to hold this for 10 seconds, so it's not long to balance at all, really.
3, 2, 1. And that's 10 seconds. Excellent, Addie. We've done great work here today.
So after this conversation finishes, you should see the save icon appear at the upper right. So that means that we've gotten a checkpoint here, which is awesome. So that will set us up well for part 4. So we can go ahead and quit to the main menu, and we will be all set up for part 4. So that's going to do it for today for part 3 of Return to Grace. I'll be back next week with a new Achievement of the Week guide, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with part 4 of Return to Grace. So thanks so much for checking all these out with me. I hope you all are enjoying the game as much as I am. It's very calming when we get through these achievements like these. And yeah, hopefully you're getting a bunch of rewards points along the way, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in those future guides. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found that video helpful, please be sure to click the subscribe button here on YouTube and hit the bell for notifications. You can also find some helpful links in the description if you want to stay connected. Stay tuned for more Microsoft rewards and achievement guides, and I'll see you in the next one.